So today's keyword is stop apologizing, I would say. I'm sure all of you remember the previous day, right? And just reflect back. Or even let me give you a more intense exercise. You have to count with me for a moment that how many times today, or in fact yesterday, you said sorry. Let's say sorry for speaking up in a meeting, sorry for taking up space in a crowded metro, sorry for having an opinion that differed from your parents, or sorry for your body, your choices, your dreams, your voice. It can be anything. You know? So we do all this. And if anybody wants to pick a number and put it in the chat box, please go ahead. Because we say sorry so often, it becomes a reflex. But here's the interesting part. Half the time, we're not actually apologizing for something we did or something we did wrong. So we are apologizing for as if existing, for being too much or not enough, too loud or too quiet, too ambitious or not ambitious enough, too traditional or too modern, too emotional or too cold. Like we are constantly editing ourselves, dimming our light, shrinking to fit into boxes that were never designed for us in the first place. So today, we're going to talk about something radical, I would say. Stop apologizing for who you are. Yes, let's imagine a picture together. Priya gets into IIT. Instead of celebrating, the first thing she says is, I know I'm not as smart as others there. I just got lucky. She apologizes for her own achievement before anyone even says a word. So let me talk about Arjun. He's a 35-year-old man who loves cooking. And when friends visit, he spends hours making the perfect biryani. But when they compliment him, he laughs it off. Arey, kya chef banna? Kya? Real meat, I don't spend so much time in the kitchen. He apologizes for his passion to protect his masculinity. Let's talk about Sneha. She's a teenager who loves poetry and writing. But when her relatives ask about her future, she says, I want to study literature, but don't worry, I'll also do something practical. At 16, she's already apologizing for her dreams. Notice the pattern? We apologize for the very things that make us who we are. So we have learned to say sorry for, let's say, taking up space, having needs, setting boundaries, or let's say being different, and some even for being successful or just be ourselves. And the question is, who benefits from your apologies? Not you. Definitely not you, right? Let me tell you something that might make you uncomfortable now. Eh? That is my duty every morning to make you uncomfortable. You're not created to fit into everyone's comfort zone. And sure this must be, understood by the females in our group. You're not created to fit into everyone's comfort zone. You're not put on this earth to make everyone comfortable. You're not designed to shrink so others can feel bigger. You're not born to apologize for your existence. Yes. The sun never apologizes for shining. It doesn't wake up and say, sorry for being too bright today. Let me dim myself so the stars feel better. It simply does what it was born to do. It shines. And you were born to shine too. But somewhere along the way, we learned that a shine is a problem. That being fully ourselves is somehow selfish, arrogant, or even inappropriate. Don't be too confident. लोग कहेंगे arrogant है. Don't be too happy, लोग कहेंगे शो ऑफ है. डोंट बी टू एम्बिशियस, लोग कहेंगे फैमिली को निग्लेक्ट करती है. लोग क्या कहेंगे? यस. So let me tell you what log will say. They will always say something. Always. आप कुछ भी करो. No matter what you do. So if you're traditional, they'll say you are backward. If you're modern, they'll say you've lost your culture. If you're single, they'll say you're too picky. And if you're married, they'll ask about kids. And if you have kids, they'll comment on your parenting. लोग क्या कहेंगे, right? So you can't win the approval game. So stop playing. So it's something no one tells you. People who shine make others see their own shadows. And that's perfectly okay. So when you stop apologizing and start owning who you are, some people will be uncomfortable. Not because you are doing anything wrong, but because your authenticity reminds them of their own compromises. When you set boundaries, people who benefit from your lack of boundaries will be upset. When you speak up, people who prefer your silence will call you aggressive. And when you succeed, people who didn't try will say you got lucky. And when you are unapologetically yourself, people who are performing a role will feel threatened. And that's not your problem to fix. That's not your responsibility to manage. Their discomfort with your growth is their journey, not your burden. A teacher once told me something very profound. When you stop shrinking, the room doesn't get smaller. It just reveals who was depending on your smallness. So let them be uncomfortable. Your job is not to manage other people's feelings about your existence. And we want ourselves also to be uncomfortable so that we see growth. So let's get real for a moment. Every time you apologize who you are, you're teaching people how to treat you. And you're saying, yes, there's something wrong with me. Yes, I need to be fixed. Yes, my natural state is unacceptable. And people believe you. So self acceptance is actually self respect. It's drawing a line and saying, this is me, not a rough draft, not a work in progress, not an apology, just me, and I am enough. Now, does that mean you're perfect? Definitely no. Does it mean you never grow? Once again, a big no. But it means you stop treating your existence as a problem that needs solving. Think about it. You don't apologize for your height, so why apologize for your ambitions? You don't apologize for your eye color, so why apologize for your choices? Or you don't apologize for breathing, so why apologize for speaking? A 16-year-old once told me, I feel like I'm too much for people. I asked her, too much what? Too much joy? Too much passion? Too much life? Maybe you're not too much. Maybe they are just too little. So you are not too much. You've never been too much. You've just been surrounded by people who couldn't hold your fullness. And instead of finding bigger containers, you learned to pour yourself out. Stop. You don't have to shrink anymore. And here's the irony, the version of you that everyone loves, the one who's always adjusting, always accommodating, always apologizing. And that's not even you, it's a performance. Performances are exhausting. You know, authenticity inspires, and pretending, it exhausts. So when you're pretending to be someone you're not just lying to others, you're betraying yourself. Every sorry for who you are is a tiny act of self abandonment. But when you show up as yourself, unapologetically, fully, completely, something magical happens. You give others permission to do the same. Your teenage daughter sees you setting boundaries and learns she can too. Your colleague sees you owning your success and learns to celebrate their own. Your friend sees you living authentically and realizes they have been performing too. So, the most revolutionary thing you can do in a world that profits from your self doubt is simply to be yourself. So, imagine waking up tomorrow and never again saying sorry for your body, your voice, your choices, your pace, your boundaries, your dreams, your existence. So, how much energy would you get back? How much space would you reclaim? And how much peace would you feel? People will notice the change. Yes, some will love it, some will resist it, and some will walk away. Let them. The ones who stay, those are your people. The ones who love you for who you actually are, not who you pretend to be. And you'll finally meet yourself, the real you, the one who's been waiting beneath all those apologies. And there's a line I love: the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, not who your parents want you to be, not who society expects you, not who your past mistakes tried to convince you that you are, who you truly are. The sun never apologizes for shining. It simply does what it was born to do. So you were born to shine in your own way, in your own time, in your full, unapologetic, magnificent way. So stop asking for permission to exist. Stop seeking approval to be yourself. And stop apologizing for the space you take up. You're not a problem to be solved. You're a person to be celebrated. So here's what I want you to do this week. Simple but powerful. Write one sentence, beginning with, yes, please take out your pen and paper. The sentence is, I will no longer apologize for, fill in the blanks. So complete the sentence. I will no longer apologize for, and then you have to complete. And fill that blank with the truth. The thing you've been saying sorry for that you shouldn't be. Maybe it's, I will no longer apologize for my ambitions, or I'll no longer apologize for setting boundaries, or no longer apologize for being single or married or divorced. And I'll no longer apologize for my body or for pursuing my passion or for simply being myself. So write it down. Put it where you can see it and read it loud every single morning this week. Say it like you mean it. Say it until you believe it. And say it until it becomes your truth. Because here's the thing: the world doesn't need another person apologizing for their existence. The world needs you fully, unapologetically, exactly as you are. So stop shrinking, stop apologizing, and start shining. You know, your light was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to illuminate the path for everyone who's still sitting in the dark, afraid to be seen. So be brave enough to be yourself. And that's the only apology the world never needs to hear. So I repeat what I've been saying in this session: the sun never apologizes for shining. It simply does. It was born to do. So, what will you stop apologizing for today? So, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.